In an address, Turkiye's Foreign Minister, Hakan Fidan, cautioned that a new phase of Cold War tensions, primarily driven by the West and Russia, is on the horizon. He stated, "The Cold War, which began with the West and Russia, will deepen and evolve into a different dimension." Fidan emphasized Turkiye's pivotal role as a mediator in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, noting that President Recep Tayyip Erdogan prioritizes diplomatic efforts. He remarked, "A lot has been done in practice," referencing high-quality meetings facilitated by Turkiye's National Intelligence Organization. These discussions focus on urgent issues like energy and food security, highlighting Turkiye's commitment to intelligence diplomacy. Fidan pointed out that while direct meetings among conflicting parties have been limited, efforts to communicate remain active. Describing the humanitarian toll, Fidan stated that over 500,000 lives have been lost, likening the situation to the devastation seen in World Wars I and the coup. He criticized the international community's lack of urgency regarding the ongoing violence, stressing there should be consequences for the fact that hundreds of thousands of people are dying. Fidan noted the influence of Washington in European politics, highlighting the potential for renewed negotiations following the US presidential elections. He characterized the current state of the war as approaching a saturation point, where neither side could achieve victory through continued conflict. He also addressed the broader geopolitical ramifications of the war, indicating that disruptions to trade routes and the emergence of new nuclear strategies from Russia signal that the conflict extends well beyond Ukraine's borders. Fidan expressed concern over the evolving nature of warfare, asserting that the ring of conflict is changing and poses an increasing risk of expansion. He emphasized that the current situation could have lasting impacts on global security. In addition to the Ukraine conflict, Fidan discussed Turkiye's strategic engagement with the Organization of Turkic States, emphasizing the need for stronger institutional ties. He positioned Turkey as a technological and economic hub, eager to share its capabilities with partner nations. Shifting focus to the Balkans, Fidan outlined Turkey's diplomatic efforts to ease tensions between Serbia and Kosovo. He credited President Erdogan's leadership as pivotal in fostering dialogue, asserting that Turkey's historical support has shaped its proactive role in promoting peace and stability in the region. As the global order becomes increasingly fragmented, Turkey under President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is emerging as a key player navigating the complex terrain between East and West. In a world where new power centers in Asia, Latin America, and Africa are reshaping the global landscape, Erdogan is steering Turkey toward a multifaceted foreign policy, balancing its historical alliances with the West while expanding its influence in the East. Erdogan recently said in a pointed post on X,
"Condemning the Turkey of 2024 to the patterns of 30 to 40 years ago is a great injustice to our country."
This reflects Turkey's broader geopolitical recalibration. No longer content to remain solely within Western-led institutions, Turkey is forging new relationships across emerging markets, adapting to the shifting global order. Turkey remains a key NATO member and a founding participant in the Council of Europe. However, Erdogan's administration has diversified its diplomatic efforts. Turkey has become a dialogue partner of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, an alliance launched by Moscow and Beijing to counter NATO's influence. Turkey has also applied for full membership in BRICS, which recently expanded to include countries like Ethiopia, Iran, and Egypt, reflecting Turkey's bid to strengthen its geopolitical influence. Erdogan's strategy illustrates Turkey's dual commitment to both NATO and emerging Eastern alliances.
I always say that as Turkey, we are of course turned to the West, but this does not mean that we will turn our backs on the East, neglect the East, or not develop our relations with the East.
Erdogan has emphasized that the world no longer operates under a Cold War-era dichotomy. Ankara seeks to develop win-win relationships with global powers.
We no longer live in a black and white world, a world where one of the two blocks has to be chosen. We wish to develop our cooperation with all countries and all actors on a win-win basis, with a balanced approach based on mutual respect.
BRICS nations, led by China and Russia, seek to counter Western economic hegemony, especially in light of geopolitical tensions. Turkey's growing ties with BRICS reflect its intent to recalibrate economic partnerships and expand diplomatic reach. Turkey's engagement with the SCO is another strategic move in Erdogan's policy of diversification, leveraging its geographic location at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. Erdogan has highlighted Turkey's outreach beyond its immediate region.
What is Turkey doing in Africa, Latin America, or Asia?
Erdogan rhetorically asked in the Post, challenging outdated views of global politics. Turkey has increased its presence in Africa, investing in infrastructure and trade, while deepening ties with Asia and Latin America, focusing on trade and technological collaboration. This outreach is part of Turkey's goal to diversify its foreign policy and build relationships with fast-growing economies, particularly in the Asia-Pacific and Indian Ocean regions. Erdogan's efforts to diversify Turkey's global partnerships have attracted criticism from Western capitals. Relations with the EU have been strained over disagreements about human rights and Turkey's regional role. Some Western critics see Turkey's closeness with Russia and China as a pivot away from Western commitments. But Erdogan insists that Turkey's foreign policy is not a rejection of the West, but an adaptation to changing global dynamics.